Until now, Souls-like game mobile are staying in search for any players who really love it. Even the fan makes this game as the game's genre, which makes some of players call it as the Souls-like games. Honestly, I totally agree about how this game reached so many fanatic fans through the gameplay and how the atmosphere seems pretty realistic in a dark fantasy theme. Please help this video get 1000 likes. Please enjoy the video of Top 10 Best Souls-like Games RPG for Android and iOS, Souls-like Mobile Game RPG. You can support this channel and send us a special thanks. Unending Dawn. Unending Dawn, the developer has launched the second trailer and it easily reminds me of Soul-like game in anime art style, because we'll fight with a huge boss in one by one. The game's level difficulty seems quite hard and challenging. We must master many actions to keep fighting, like parrying to block the enemy's heavy skills, and also we can do a counter as much as we can, as long as we can do it in the right timing, so keep practicing will be the best way to master every single action combat. The combat looks so dynamic and how the camera view angle support us to see a better visual from an action perspective. Anyway, Unending Dawn is a single-player open-world game where we will explore the world of dark fantasy base. Of course, we'll play with a sword as our primary weapon. Some movement is prepared by the developers, like jumping, higher jumping, and also hanging on the wall or any object that has a possibility to do so. Just to inform you, this game is made by Unreal Engine 5. No wonder the game's graphics are really superb. Unending Dawn is the best Soul-like game for Android and iOS and also PC, which means it's a multi-platform game. Will you play this game? Great game. Great game, one of the best new game action game that's pretty similar to Dark Souls Mobile. The ambience seems so double because it has a dark fantasy theme and how we fight the creepy characters like a skeleton with a huge size in hack and slash combat. The gameplay is really satisfying to play. We can play the game in a smoother movement while we are hitting the enemies that we are free to move the navigation path. It will help the players to dodge the enemy's attack in a better distance. Blocking and unleashing the skill like making a fire element into our swords will be the best way to make a stronger slashing damage. The main hero will have a sword and shield as the weapon priority, but also more classes can be unlocked like a rogue, sage, ranger, and wizard. Try to get a better weapon like a higher tier quality is quite easy to get. Always try to sort or loot the equipment after we kill a single enemy. After we kill the boss one, then the monolith will appear to open up a new portal. Place a different skill and talent before starting the game will be great idea to do as you prepare. Anyway, we can pick a multiplayer mode to compete with the other players. Great game is the best Dark Soul mobile-like for Android and iOS in dark fantasy RPG. Kingdom Souls-like. Kingdom Souls-like RPG. As the game name, the developer mentioned it clearly how the gameplay will become. They try to create a great RPG for fans who love to play Dark Souls 3 games, and anyway, it's playable for Android, iOS, and also for PC. If you are a mobile game user, then I would suggest you to play the game in medium setting because it will create a bit laggy to play in maximum graphic setting. Remember, I have warned you about it, so hopefully on the Play Store, the game score will increase. The gameplay of Kingdom Netflix is truly an action hack and slash game. We'll play as a samurai who has the sword as his main weapon. Seriously, you will have a hard time playing in combat because it has a slower action and it will create a realistic and smooth movement while in combat. We must go through so many waves before entering the next chapter, so we really need to survive longer by understanding and learning the enemy's combat pattern. The dodge button will be the main key to kill and open up the chance to win the game. Make a great combination attack to deal a higher damage, but surely you will need to learn it in practice mode first. Kingdom Souls-like RPG is the best ARPG game with a samurai base and sword gameplay that has a Souls-like game mobile. Anyway, you can play the game freely on Google now because it has released globally. Dark and Darker Mobile. Dark and Darker Mobile. For me, this game would be the best Soul-like game, but in a new game's genre. Can you imagine you are playing and fighting with the goblin or monster, but in multiplayer mode, which is on Battle Royale? I think more games developer is getting crazier on combining some different genre for making a unique gameplay. In game, I love how we can select a different hero to start your competitive battles. They are all fighter, barbarian, rogue, cleric, and wizard is ongoing. It has a lot of job selections. Unfortunately, the character creation is super limited. We don't even cannot make any heroes appearance in detail. Lucky we are because the developer allows the players to customize the equipment visual when we place and equip a new weapon or armor. The combat mechanism is we must compete with the other real players and not let them become a winner in a lost circle. We can try to slow them down by pressuring them all the time and not letting them find a better equipment. The other side, it will push the player to be able to win 1 versus 1 moment. Dark and Darker Mobile is the best Souls-like game mobile that we can play soon. Blade of God X. Blade of God X. Honestly, this game is what the players want to play since it's released in beta for multiple times, and right now we just need to wait a little bit more for it to release globally. All of the heroes are unlocked now. They have a different weapon with a different fighting style. Even they play in the same role which are close range. I will be honest about the gameplay, it's super difficult, especially when we reach a certain level, but actually the developer has reduced the game's difficulty to become lower. The combat mechanism need to maintain the hero's stamina or energy, because every single action will consume the energy. The more energy you have, the more chance we can launch a combination attack. In the game we have some allies, so the allies will be able to help us in targeting the enemy. Unfortunately, we cannot control them, we only need to focus on the boss stages. The graphic and how the combat is my top priority to play the game. It's super detailed, sharp and amazing. Blade of God X is the best new Soul-like games for Android and iOS. Infinity Souls. Action RPG Infinity Souls. This game has very good Souls-like games in a very small size. Even we can play the game without connection internet, which means an offline game, but we need to get the game through premium. But I guarantee you will not regret downloading the game. The game has 3 main indicators on focusing the gameplay, which are the dust energy, skill energy, and also HP energy. 3 of those indicators should be played in the right synergy, because when we run out of it, then we cannot do anything against the boss. In fact, the boss battle is really tough. They have a high defense, high attack power, and most of the skill has a huge area of effect skill. It doesn't have any storyline at all because the developer really wants to focus on the action combat. Action RPG Infinity Souls is the best new Souls games like for Android and iOS. Devil May Cry. Devil May Cry Mobile Peak of Combat. Get yourself ready on the immersive dark fantasy based game. It's so much engaging with a satisfying combat mechanism. You will love the game since it allows you to create your own variation combo skill by combining a different button. We can create an extra and dynamic combo by switching 3 heroes and adjusting the combat fighting style based on the enemy's role. We can grapple in the air and don't let the enemy fall down to the ground. It will make your combat experience becoming way more interesting. In fact, we can build up the combination from C grade into SS grade. The more you are successfully landing a combo, the higher your score combo will you get. Trust me, it will become addictive when you reach the highest combo score. This game has a lot of animation cutscenes. Seriously, every mission will show us how the storyline works through visual. Absolutely, this game is a top tier AAA action RPG hack and slash game that you need to play as a Soul-like game mobile. Pascal's Wager. Pascal's Wager. I remember this game becoming the first Dark Souls Android game in a very good graphic even though it's playable offline before, but now the game turns into online. Even if we have the premium one, it should be an offline game, right? Anyway, this game has one of the best action game with a very good dark atmosphere. Even we will never find any day ambience along the story, we will present it with a dark fantasy base. There are some heroes we can get with a variety of weapons. They are swords as a paladin, berserker, and also demon hunter. The combat mechanism looks quite slow, but it will make the game become so realistic. We can easily predict the enemy's pattern just before they launch an attack. The game is really good and amazing in story and how we should find out the mission by ourselves manually. Every single storyline will determine which way we should go and easier to find the way out. Pascal's Wager is the best Souls-like game Android and iOS. Blade of Gods. Blade of Gods for Souls. If you are looking for an offline Dark Souls 3 mobile in hack and slash game, then this game will be your best option. I know we can compare the graphic between those games, but at least we can see how the game's combat mechanism is quite similar. We can block the enemy's attack, we can do a counter of the enemy's heavy damage, and it will make the enemy vulnerable and take a lot of damage. The game will focus on the energy base. When we are able to maintain the energy, then we can make a lot of chance by doing a counter. Trust me, you cannot underestimate the boss level difficulty. It's super hardcore. We don't have any character selections, but we will be able to change the hero's appearance based on the equipment that we are equipping on. If you realize it has a huge game size because we will be presented with full of voiceover and how we get so much attractive storyline along the journey. Blade of Gods for Souls is the best game like Dark Souls for mobile. Animus Revenant. Animus Revenant. Every time I play this game, it always made me want to give up. I am sure you will get the same experience as I am. Since you face the first boss, his name is Sentinel. As the first boss, his damage is unbelievable. We just need to hit about 4 times, then our hero will die suddenly. Even though his armor is way too strong, our attack only hits slightly damage. This game doesn't have any skill, we only have a heavy damage, but also the basic attack will not hit any damage at all. If you are a type of the players who's always looking for a challenge, then this game will be answer your challenge 100%. Even you will not have any chance to win the game. As the main character, we can switch the weapon in combat between the huge axe and also hammer and shield. Those weapons will adjust our ability, like increasing the mobility or movement speed or even slower. So it will be good to make a great strategy to kill the enemy. Animus Revenant is one of the best soul-like game mobile in hardcore mode. Would you dare to play this game? Animus Stand Alone. Bonus Animus Stand Alone. This is one of the best Souls-like games offline that I would recommend to play for anyone. It's a newbie friendly and also how the game has so much potential to beat the other Souls-like mobile. Unfortunately, it's not available on Play Store anymore, but don't worry because you can get the games on Google easily. This game has so many different character classes with a variation of weapons that we can choose them freely. The graphics are really amazing and I love how we face so many huge sizes of the common enemies. These all are the best game Souls-like RPG games for mobile. We have picked so many game options for you to try, like the game size and how we can play it online or offline. Please help this video get 1000 likes. See you on the next video. Thanks.